A single face is all it takes to create a consistent, posable character. Yes, hello and welcome to more nerdy rodent geekery, where today I present my latest ComfyUI workflow, which has both an imaginative and descriptive name. Reposer. By combining the IPAdapter face model with an open pose control net, this workflow can create a consistent character in any pose you like, along with, of course, prompt control to guide your generations. You can probably do much the same thing in Automatic 1111, just not as a single workflow. So let's take a look. For example, here I've got my original character. She's sort of a 1970s style detective. The image contains mostly face, but with elements of the clothing included too, such as that brown, large collared leather jacket. Notice how here, just by changing the background color, everything else in the image has changed too, but her face, the whole character there, is still consistent. But what we do have is this more purple and green sort of cyberpunky aesthetic. While it works best with a decent face image, you can use any image you like in there. Just got part of a face looking left? No problem, as you can see there. Looking right, full body, half body, painting, anime, photo, maybe even no face at all. Just get experimental and see what happens. Sure, it's not perfect, but it is very quick and easy. No need to fine-tune a model or even create a character LoRA, as all you need is just that one input image. If you've used ComfyUI before, setup is trivial, nothing complicated in here at all. Just load it up as normal, download your models, and off you go. If not, then do check out my installation and basic usage video guide, which is also linked in this video description. You'll then be aware that in ComfyUI, the image is the workflow, so if you drag or load the Reposer image from the A Very Comfy Nerd webpage, there it is, then you'll be halfway there. This webpage also has links to all the models you'll need in the resources section at the top. The workflows are in the table below, and next to the workflows, you'll find a description, also linking particular tutorial videos, as well as any information about models you may need to download and where they go. Also, when you click refresh, ComfyUI will update all the names in those loaders to match the ones on your own personal computer. This means the names you see in these loader boxes may not match exactly as to the names you have on your own computer. This is absolutely fine and not a cause for concern, as the name of a file will not change the way it works. For example, you may have your own naming conventions for models and perhaps even custom locations too. Let's have a look over here. As an avid ComfyUI user myself, I've found that organizing things into subdirectories helps me when searching, particularly if there are lots and lots of options. For example, let's have a look at this control net pull down. Now, if I want to find a model in there, it is a little bit difficult, isn't it? All right, but don't worry, because here is one tip for you. You might not have noticed, but you can actually filter the results by typing stuff in. So here I go depth, and there it will give me anything with depth in the title. So now I can see, as I've put everything into different directories, exactly what is what. These are all Stable Diffusion 1.5. Those are all Stable Diffusion XL. That's a TI adapter. These are control LoRAs. Thankfully, I've color-coded and labeled all of the loaders, so whatever your names and conventions that you use at home, it's going to be really easy to tell which model you need for which loader just by looking at the description at the top. Okay, let's check through them one by one to understand all of the requirements for this workflow. First, of course, is your Stable Diffusion 1.5 checkpoint loader. This is your choice of Stable Diffusion checkpoint, and the loader says load checkpoint. It will load checkpoint models from the models checkpoints directory of your ComfyUI installation. As mentioned, you can see there, I've got mine split up into Stable Diffusion 1.5 and SDXL directories. Now, even with the IPAdapter, the model you use will influence your image generation. For example, if you have a model tailored towards photorealism, there's a photorealistic one, but you want to create a cartoon character, then you're still going to get a little bit of that realism coming through because that's what the model generates. So you may want to choose a more cartoon-oriented model instead if that's what you're trying to generate. Okay, the next one we've got here is the load control net for Stable Diffusion 1.5, and that is the open pose model. Now, if we have a look back at the directories again, so we're still in ComfyUI models, the default directory where everything goes. And here we've got one for ControlNet and it's called ControlNet. Once again, I've got mine split up into Stable Diffusion 1.5 and SDXL models. Be sure to use an open pose model of your choice here. And also remember, ComfyUI will update the names to match those on your own computer. If you have your own naming and location standards, things will look different. I've tested that with both the standard and control LoRA models, and both of those seem to work fine. Personally, I would suggest using a control LoRA as it should be faster and use fewer resources. All right, next up is the clip vision. So we've got load, clip vision, IPAdapter, Stable Diffusion 1.5 image encoder. This will load clip vision models from the models clip vision directory. And as you can see, once again, I have different subdirectories in there. This is particularly useful as they seem to have called both of their models model. So if you want to download both of those, you are going to have to rename or choose a different directory. You've got no choice there whatsoever. Okay, now the powerhouse behind this is this load IPAdapter. And this is the Stable Diffusion 1.5 face model. This one doesn't load things from the default location, so we have to go back up one, and then we're into custom nodes, and we've got IPAdapter ComfyUI, and there we have a models directory with the IPAdapter plus face for Stable Diffusion 1.5. Those other models will work in here, but the face model is what will really give you those face results. Now the final two there for upscaling. So here there's a tile control net, load control net, Stable Diffusion 1.5 tile, and also an upscale model there as well. If we have a look back at the default location, ComfyUI models, here we've got the upscale models, so put your upscale models in there. For the tile control net, that's exactly the same location as we saw previously for the open pose models, so that goes into the control net directory. Upscaling, as mentioned, is totally optional, so if you don't want to do any of that, you can just go over to the upscaling group and just click bypass nodes, and then none of that will be run, and you'll just get your one Reposer image in there. Links for models can be found on the A Very Comfy Nerd webpage in the resources section. Also, there is a description column next to each of the workflows, which has links and more information pertaining to the workflow to the left of it. Great, now you've loaded your models, it's usage time. In its most basic form, you simply need to drag an image onto the face box. There it is, load IPAdapter image face, and a pose into the pose box, and click Q prompt to generate. Wait a couple of seconds, and then you will get that face in that pose in the little save image box there. While optional, prompts can help maintain consistency too. Maybe give your character a name or specify clothing such as a suit or jacket, things like that. If you swap the face from real to something a bit more cartoony, then that face and style will also be transferred. As you can see there, it's coming out as a more cartoony image. Switch the pose image and the character will take on that new pose instead. You've also got some other controls at the top there. You've got the weights for the prompt. So there's the prompt strength. By default, that should be at 1. IPAdapter strength, so how much does the face influence your image? Again, by default, that's 1. And you've got another option here, which is image or batch. Default mode is image, so that's just going to use the one face in there. But if you change that from image to batch, then it's going to use both of those images in the IPAdapter. What happens in this case is that you basically then get a blend of the two. So even though that's cartoony, it's taken the realistic bit out of that image and sort of merged their faces together as well. All right, you can get some really interesting things out of that mode. In the pose preprocessor, you can disable or enable hand, body, and face detection should you wish. I suggest just playing around with loads of different images to start with, and you will soon get the hang of how things work. More information and links are down in the video description, though if you enjoyed this, then why not watch another Nerdy Rodent video?